We're at NXT TakeOver Battleground, and Roxanne Perez and Jordynne Grace are tearing it up in the main event. Grace is dominating Perez, so she gets desperate and cheats to victory. Everyone is disappointed in a cheap win, but then Giulia's here! Once Perez overcomes one Titan, another comes and takes her place. And Perez is confident, she squares up to the Titan, but Giulia remains stoic. And Perez is getting more and more angry as she screams, "You think you can just show up and take my moment? You haven't done anything to get this. Who the hell do you think you are, huh?" Giulia smacks the mic out of her hand. She's had enough. She stares longingly at the NXT Women's Championship and leaves. And on the following NXT, we begin the show of Roxanne Perez as she's demanding Giulia comes out and faces her, which she does. She comes out, grabs a microphone and says, "Apparently you're the best this place has to offer. So let's see about that. But not tonight. I want you at your best. I want you at 100%. So when I beat you and take your NXT Women's Championship, there'll be no excuses. So I suppose this is a challenge to you, Miss Perez, for NXT Heatwave." And Perez is fired up as she responds, "Oh yeah? You want me at my best? Okay, I'll accept your challenge, but just so you know, even if I had a broken wrist, a broken leg, or hell, even if I was at 1% of my power, I'd still beat you." And with a smile by Giulia, she turns away and looks to leave, but Perez takes a cheap shot. It's a disgraceful act by the Prodigy, but Giulia counters her next strike and sends her out the ring. She doesn't want to hurt her as she says, "I want you at 100%, nothing less." A statement has been made by Giulia, but before next week's show, she makes a pit stop somewhere else. Giulia answers Jordynne Grace's open challenge for the TNA Knockouts Championship. No one can believe it, including Jordynne Grace, but Giulia wants the gold, and Grace is a woman of her word. The referee hoists the championship up, and the match is on, and it's a technical masterclass by both women, as Giulia is showcasing why she is the hot prospect in NXT. But Grace is still a beast. She manhandles Giulia around the ring, but she can't put her away. Giulia's resilience is unwavering. She fights with everything she has. But does she have enough strength within her to get the win? She's throwing everything at Grace. She's wearing the bigger woman down. Will Giulia become champion? No! Perez assaults her, causing a disqualification, and the crowd boo Perez out the building as she demolishes Giulia. But Grace is up, and she's not happy. She plants Perez to the canvas and starts hammering away at her. However, Giulia stops her as she says, "I only will face her at 100%. Grace respects her wishes. She takes the championship and walks to the back, whilst Giulia gazes at Perez's lifeless body, looks towards the crowd, and leaves. And the following week, the NXT General Manager Ava is raging at Perez for what she did at TNA as she says, "Perez, you really crossed the line at against all odds. Lucky for you, Santino decided not to fine you or ask for a punishment, but that doesn't mean you're off the hook. Giulia, I know you want Perez at 100%, so I'll grant you that wish out of respect for you and your work. But I want you next week to tell me and the whole world what stipulation your match will be." It's an enormous announcement by Ava, but what will Giulia choose? Well, the following week, she's in the ring and she says, "Ava, thank you for this, because I want to beat Perez with no excuse. So at NXT Heatwave, it'll be me versus Roxanne Perez in a street fight." Perez doesn't care. She beats Giulia down, but she has evil intentions. She's gonna end the match before it even begins. But then Jordynne Grace comes out and runs her off. And even though she's back one time only, it's all but confirmed her feud with Roxanne Perez has only just begun. And with a show of respect from Giulia and Grace, they both walk to the back. However, the following week, it's the show before NXT Heatwave, and Ava has issued a no-contact policy between the two competitors to ensure the match will take place. But there's still a contract signing, and it's a tense affair, as Perez says, "You can't even beat a steroid-using nobody. What makes you think you'll beat me, huh?" And Giulia responds, "You and I both know that if you hadn't got involved, this would be a double title match. But you're too much of a coward. You have to take a cheap shot from behind. But on NXT Heatwave, you can't do that. And because of that, your NXT Women's Championship reign dies." It's time! Giulia versus Roxanne Perez, and it's a violent affair. Perez continuously tries to use weapons at every turn to try and weaken Giulia, but Giulia doesn't. She wants to definitively prove that she's better than the best, so she doesn't use weapons. But it comes back to bite her, as eventually Perez manages to lay in shot of a steel chair. She even goes outside and redecorates the announcer's table. This can't end well for someone. Perez drags Giulia outside, but she played possum and nails a huge blow onto Perez, knocking her out on the table. She's in a precarious position, but Giulia has an idea. She goes to the top rope. Is she gonna do it? Yes, she does. Perez is broken in half. Giulia has to pull out all the stops to keep Perez down. She rolls her into the ring, applies a crossface, and Perez taps out. Perez's reign is over. Giulia dethrones the Prodigy, and she proves that she is the best of the best. And if you like this story, I think this will interest you.